everybody. Thank you for tuning in today to the iNaturalBody channel. Today I want to talk to you a little about curing soaps and just give you some tips and tricks that you can try in your own space when you're curing your cold process soaps. For the glycerin soaps, it's not that big of a deal, I would say, at least for me personally, but in my experience, I found these next couple of tricks have helped to lessen my cure time on my soaps, and I wanted to share those with you. Stay tuned. Alright, so I know everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody. In your lifetime, I'm sure you've come across these little packets. They are the silica gel. It says on them, it says on these little packets to throw away, do not eat. They help to eliminate moisture in a product. So from time to time, when I purchase products that may have these little packages, I don't throw them away because I accumulate them so that I can place them in a jar so that eventually they will end up in my soap curing room. And what I've come to do is accumulate them in a what's called a snack jar. In the snack jar, I'm not kidding you, I have accumulated several of these, as you can tell. And so what they help to do is to eliminate moisture out of the environment, and so I could help decrease the time. Now, how much is it decreasing the time on curing? I don't know, but I do know that my soaps are harder a little faster. I don't know the exact timing. Another thing that I've used, and I'll share it with you, is I've placed a couple of these in the environment, the damp rid. I've placed a couple of these in the environment where I tend to keep all of my supplies. Now, what I use as a soap curing rack, and I'll share it with you in a second here, is nothing more than a metal rack that has slots on it that I put each pound of soap on, and I do have some soap on there now. I did purchase the damp rid at Lowe's or Home Depot. I can't remember exactly which one, but it was definitely one of the big box stores. Now, I did get several of these when I saw these at the Dollar Tree for $1, and I haven't used this one, but I have several of these that I will definitely be using because they're cost effective and they are exactly what I'm looking for, moisture eliminators. Now, these are simple, inexpensive, at least these pull double duty. And what you're doing, let me just backtrack a little. When we're creating cold process soap, we are using water in our lye water solution. Well, that water has to evaporate out of the soap. If you were to weigh your soap after you've cut it or taken it out of the mold, if you were to weigh each soap individually, you may have a soap that's roughly between 4 to 7 ounces or 8 ounces, depending on the mold size, the individual mold size, or how thick you're cutting a loaf soap. Well, the water that's in the soap has to be released. This is what causes the bar to harden, or the soap itself to harden, and it lends to a longer lasting bar of soap when you're using the soap. Well, that cure time, when we tell people, look, these have to cure for 4 to 6 weeks, some of us want to help shorten that 4 to 6 week period. By implementing these tips, you're decreasing that time. Now, you can maintain your 4 to 6 week time frame that you're explaining to your client, to your customers, but for your own sake, wouldn't it be beautiful to know that you can pull some soaps off of your curing rack and know that those can get packaged and put into your surplus? Wouldn't it be great to know that you can have more space available to start the next project? So this is what this tip does for you. It gets you ahead of the game. It gets you occupying less real estate on those racks so that you can pursue the next project. So there was one other thing. I did want to invest in a dehumidifier. I haven't because these have worked so well for me in my environment. Now, when I move out of my home, when I place my studio, say like in a maybe in a rented space or what have you, depending on the environment, I may invest in a dehumidifier. But if your pocketbook can afford to get you that immediately, by all means, a dehumidifier will work wonders beside this type of product, because it's something that you can plug up, leave on, change the water out from time to time, and you can remove the moisture out of the environment that way. So those are the tips and tricks that I have for you. I'm going to show you what I use as a curing rack in my studio, and maybe it may be something that you would want to incorporate. Okay, so I apologize for the lighting right now, but I just wanted to show you, like currently I'm using this station to house, let me make sure that I'm able to show you. Right now I have an overflow of these ribbons that I found at Walmart, but on a normal basis this is my soap curing rack, and on this rack I'm able to fit, as you will see right here, several bars of soap, to include anywhere from 17 to, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12 bars here. Anywhere from 12 to 17 bars depending on the size that I choose to create. And this is my soap curing station. Now, ever since the move from moving my studio from one place to another, I have had to utilize the space for different purposes, but ideally this is where my soap curing rack is, and temporarily I have an overflow of ribbon that I use on packaging that's being housed here, and like I said, it's temporary. Now I do have another area in my new space that I'm going to use for another rack similar to this. The rack itself, I think I paid maybe $2 or $3 for. It was purchased from Habitat for Humanity. Create several loaves in a week that you could have curing once a month. So Walmart, and this was like $8 or $9. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't more than $10. This is a humidity monitor, and basically what it does is it makes sure that the indoor humidity is within a certain percentage or a certain range, and so you're able to keep up with the humidity percentage indoors. It does require a AA battery, one AA battery. Something else, so not only are we going to monitor the humidity in our curing room, we also want to moderate the humidity by pulling or drawing the moisture out. And basically all you do is you pull this off. There's a silver lining that you rip off, and then this is what's underneath. And inside you can see the carbon pellets and the charcoal pellets, and that's all you do, and it's ready to use. And what will happen is, over time, this little area here will fill up with moisture that's been accumulated, or that's been collected in this little reservoir. It'll accumulate here. Once all the pellets have melted or have dissolved, I don't want to say melted, but have dissolved, then you'll know that it's time to either replace it, or you can actually refill it. And I'm going to share with you an idea that I do have about refilling these. Though the container doesn't say that you can refill these, the ones that are purchased from the Dollar Tree, there is a material that you can definitely refill it with, and I'm going to share that with you as well. But once again, let me reiterate, once these pellets have dissolved, this reservoir beneath here in this area will be filled with water. It's as simple as puncturing, putting a small hole in the top part of this this meshing, I guess, and you can easily drain the water out. You can pour the water out into the sink, and that's what I'm going to use here. Now this is a very inexpensive, it's very generic brand of moisture eliminator, but there is, now this, it's the same thing. It's damp rid. This and this, these are both the same companies. It's the same idea. The pellets are in the top. I haven't really used it because this was a double pack, and this is an extra one that I haven't opened yet, but the carbon pellets are inside of a plastic case. This was $5 for 2. This is 10.5 ounces and $2.50, and this is roughly 10 ounces for $1. So you do the math and weigh out which one is most feasible or easily accessible for you to purchase. But this is another similar container. These things can be placed anywhere, so it will serve a beautiful purpose in a soap curing room or within the vicinity of where you're curing your soaps to help eliminate the moisture. When this gets ready to discard, the idea is not to discard your container, though the manufacturer does suggest discarding the entire thing after you've drained the water out. It's just water. You can refill these. These are refillable. This one is refillable. You can purchase just the carbon pellets and refill your containers. However, this manufacturer doesn't say that you can, but I don't see why not. The plastic that's used, it's polypropylene 5, and so this plastic is very, very reusable, and I plan on reusing it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you what I plan on reusing it with. Now, as crazy as this may sound, it's not as far-fetched as one would think. Okay, so when I was at the Dollar Tree looking all around, I found some cat litter. Cat litter. When I turned the side of the bag and I was reading the purposes for this particular brand of cat litter, it said other uses for soft paw, and it says that you can use it in outdoor cooking. Use soft paw in the bottom of a barbecue grill as a base for the charcoal. This can absorb grease, reducing the chance of a grease fire. It also says it can be used in garbage cans. Pour a little soft paw in the bottom of garbage cans to soak up spills. This will help keep the cans smelling cleaner. And then it also says for spills, sprinkle a generous amount of soft paw over oily spills. After several hours, soft paw will have soaked up the mess. Simply sweep it up. So the idea is that soft paw, as it's a cat litter, but check it out. It says all natural, extra absorbency, longer lasting odor control. I'm going to try this out and see how I like it. It's going to absorb moisture, obviously, especially in a cat litter box, right? So I'm going to see if this works in my moisture eliminator containers once they have been all used up. So real quickly, one more thing I just want to share with you with this. Where was it? Okay, it's on this side, or maybe not. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then I saw this. It's all natural, absorbs great. Okay, it's right on the back side. It says soft paw cat litter is made from a super absorbent diatomaceous, I'm not even sure how you say it, diatomaceous clay called Fuller's Earth, an extensive deposit of Fuller's Earth near Walkerton, Virginia, was discovered by the Bennett family of geologists in the early 80s. And so I'm going to stop there because I'm familiar with this material. I can't pronounce the word too well, but it's spelled D as in David, I-A-T-O-M-A-C-E-O-U-S, clay. And I've seen people use it in gardening. I've seen my dad purchase it before, and he used it in helping the soil to aerate, helping to aerate the soil, I suppose. But it's very natural, and it's not only natural for us to use it, but it's safe. It's safe for humans and animals alike. So that was something else that really drew me to wanting to try this as a replacement. But I'll let you guys know if there's any drawbacks or what have you. But if it's working well, then hopefully I can capture some footage and show you what it did as well, but that won't be until these have been used up completely. So another thing that I've started to do to decrease the curing times in my soaping is water discounting. If you're not familiar with water discounting, all it is when you're building your recipe for your soaps, whatever the amount of liquid is, once you've passed your recipe through the soap calculator, whatever the amount of liquid in the recipe is, you can discount it. And a safe point is anywhere from 7 to 10%, and that will decrease the amount of liquid that's in your bar, helping to decrease the water content, or which helps to get you a nice solid bar. You usually have like a 4 to 6 weeks curing time. So decreasing the water, doing a water discount, incorporating a dehumidifier, using these moisture eliminators. Also, in review, I picked up one of these. It's a humidity monitor, and I want to always have this information available to me. So those are the tactics that I've deployed. As of right now, to give you an idea, these are pretty hard. I'm not getting any pushback or anything. I'm not getting any pushback. You can tell very easily. But the water discounting, that's all I've deployed with these. The water discounting seems to work very well. I shared with you that I was monitoring the humidity in my soap curing area. So I just wanted to share with you what the monitor does in case you decide to invest in the Accurite. All right, so right here is the indoor humidity, and this is the record of the highest temperature taken for the indoor humidity and the lowest temperature taken for indoor humidity. And then based on the temperature, the current temperature in the area, which in this particular area is 81 degrees, the highest record of it, the lowest record of the set temperature, the temperature is the humidity level, the indoor humidity level. Okay, so in relative to the temperature, it's okay. The indoor humidity is okay. So I'm fine with that. So what does this mean? It means that it's not overly humid and it's not overly dry, that the conditions are favorable for us and in this environment. So, and then on the back side of it is where the battery compartment is. I didn't have to do anything special. I literally, as far as adjusting, because it's set to Fahrenheit, this is where you would depress this little button here. You can change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit or vice versa. And this is the battery compartment, and that's that. The back side of the case does come with a magnet, so you could either set it on something magnetic or like on the refrigerator or what have you, or it can sit like such. Because these are quite sensitive devices, you don't want to place your humidity monitor in an area that's dusty or near a vent where the temperatures will be skewed, because the vent will either have AC or heat on, whichever is the case. So you really want to place this in an area that can be fairly neutral as far as air is not passing near it, it's not overly dusty, there's the numbers can be as accurate as possible. As far as the temperature ranges, this device will read anything from 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 122 degrees Fahrenheit, or from 0 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius. The humidity range is 16% to 99% relative humidity. So I hope this video was beneficial to you, kind of gave you some tips on how you can cure your soaps a little faster, how you can decrease that curing time. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the description box below. I would appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you for tuning in, and you have a good day. Bye-bye.